He's doing wonderful, and he's an awesome person, and we're making it happen. We have a libertarian candidate for governor here today. We also have a Democratic politician showing up. I need to point out that I had been working for weeks with Governor Wildstar to come out and speak today. And then yesterday, Shankar Singham made a connection with a Democratic politician who also just wanted to come out and meet the Calexit group. So why are two different politicians who have no contact with each other choosing to just hang out with us all of a sudden? Additionally, we were in the UK newspaper last week talking about the initiative. Most news never covers an initiative before it's actually officially out. So we have an international news article that recognized Independent California as the grassroots organizer of Calexit. I want to repeat that again. Independent California has taken a chance working with Yes California and with the entire movement and saying, look, the past was the past, let's just move forward. And I want to point out that for their diligence and trust and faith and hope and hard work, because the guys running it were not in charge when they got started. Hal and Shankar came up from the ground, okay? And now they're running it. And guess what happened last week? For the first time ever, Independent California had international news saying they are the organizer of the ground game on Calexit. They were correctly identified for their role, and they were rewarded for all their hard work and patience with all of us. And that happened last week. So I want to point out to everybody, when you take a chance on Calexit, it does pay off. I promised Independent California that they would get media if they worked with us, and they got it, and I delivered on my promise. There's going to be so much more. I'm saying that not to highlight my ego or anything, but to say, look, folks, I have an idea about how to get media. I promised you IC would get in the news. I promised you they would get recognized, and it's here today. So we need to build upon that. I've been working with Hal about saying IC is the grassroots organizer. Calm PAC by Hannah is the policy organizer, and Yes California is the media wing. We're all behind that. Everybody's gotten that. It's been wonderful. Independent California is going to be leading the ground game. They're the main forces. And look, everybody, you got to understand, you have to support Hal. You have to support him and Shankar and IC, and you have to help them get chapters up and running. Nothing is as important to chapters. Nothing is important to getting media as chapters. So please work with Hal. Please volunteer for a chapter. If you have someone who's going, well, I'm thinking about joining Calexit, and they see a map and they see someone in Chico or Oceanside or San Bernardino or Fresno or Clovis or Sacramento or Stockton, that person immediately says, well, I'm going to join because there's someone already there. I'm not alone. So we're winning. UK news, we also made New York Post yesterday. So the New York Post, second biggest newspaper in New York, said that. Also Tim Pool, who's super famous amongst everybody under 40 in the Midwest and conservative and on social media, said, go ahead and let California secede. Additionally, we had a leader of the Women's Leadership Gaia Council in Southern California recommend to everybody to join Calexit, and she didn't care if people thought that was crazy. 1,000 Californians supported that, and we're in contact with all of them. So we have to step up the game. I personally requested that Hal take over a channel, have more control, because I need IC to be the focus for the next few weeks. IC is the focus for the next few weeks. Independent California is the focus for the next few weeks. It has to be that way. Okay, we have to build chapters. Now for today's agenda, Hal's going to be running everything, but today's agenda, we're going to have a status update from Independent California for a few minutes. We can go towards the end, Hal, if you want. Joe Payne was also going to give a status update of his PAC. Then governor candidate Nicholas Wildstar was going to talk about his candidacy, endorsement of Calexit upon certain preconceived conditions, and his proposal to work with Calexit to file an initiative to have the original Black Lives Matter law written by Professor Kalors reinstituted into law. I cannot emphasize to you the gigantic media spectacle that will be. Finally, after governor candidate Nicholas Wildstar, we will have Jason von Schrader propose an idea for additional media. And finally, we will have Matt Owens talk about the lesson of von Hindenburg and the Social Democrats and how that relates today. So, update from Independent California, then a quick update from Joe Payne, then we're going to go to Governor Nicholas Wildstar, then Jason, and then Matt. Hal, is that okay, sir? Okay. Yeah. So go ahead for a few minutes, Hal, if IC wants to do an update, and then we'll go to Joe. I can't hear you, Hal.
That's because I'm not
There
speaking.
you go. No, there you go. Sorry.
Often when I'm not speaking, I am actually quiet. As a quick update from Independent California. First off, thank you everyone for being here. It's good to see all your faces, got new people and people I haven't seen in a while. Hello. Where we're at now is that we're basically furiously working to get the pieces in place. Website was put or was financed and is in process. We should have at least the prototype front pages up sometime this week to look at, and will, according to Anchored Web Solutions, we will be up and running probably by the end of the week. So that will,
Yes.
and we will begin uploading content at that time. We are furiously hunting for, and I'll turn it over to Shankar in a little bit, or in a couple of moments, to go forward with that. For chapter merchandise and so forth, we are putting those things in place. T-shirts, stickers, everything necessary. I would like to go offline and discuss. I put out what I'm loosely calling the script. Here I have a room full of brilliant minds. Please tell me, please go, if you have it, if you've received it, go over it and give me your thoughts so that we can prepare to release it chapter wide. Well, I'd like to start getting these things out to everybody. The next installment for that will basically be chapter organization, expectations, and how-tos. So we will go from the basic handbook through the script and basic signature gathering, and then chapter organization and so forth. I apologize if anyone believes I've got these cards. I didn't get the cart in front of the horse or what have you, but honestly, we're kind of moving at a breakneck pace here. So forgive me the dust. We will be doing everything possible to be ready on opening. Shankar, you want to talk about the efforts and the chapters and and what looks like our new store?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hello, everybody. Quite a big meeting here. That's awesome. That's great. So, where to start? Okay, let's just start with the chapter leads real quick. All right. I'm thinking about BLM and what everything was said right before the meeting right now. Excellent stuff that was said before we started right now. We need to come back to that. Definitely need to come back to that. Okay, so as far as the efforts for the petition. So look, currently we have 11 chapters. Actually, as of today, we have a dozen. We have 12 chapters. We're opening up one up in Encino with Myron Roosh. I don't know if anybody knows her or not from the online group. She's up in Encino. So that's 12 chapters that we've got up and running. Everybody that signed up as a chapter has to do one thing, and that's just make your Facebook site. Once you do your Facebook site, you're going to get a packet that's got business cards, T-shirts, the handbook, flyers, clipboards, rubber bands, a stack of petitions, a T-shirt, and then access to the training videos on what to do with the petition, and also Hal's script. So you should be fully prepared to go out and grab signatures wherever, really. Don't let this pandemic discourage you at all. It really isn't a big deal. There's so many other places to get signatures from. So that right now we're at a dozen. I expect to be by the time the petition come out, I'm expecting. I mean, when the petition is in full swing, I'm thinking 40 chapters is what's going to be happening up and down the state, going at this speed, at this growth rate right here. And then, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but definitely around 40. Also, website. So website is going to launch September 8th. At least a landing page, at least a merch page and a contact page, all the basics really. I'm working on getting a link to the petition up there. That's key. We need to get a link to the petition up so people can just print it out and sign it and mail it in. According to Secretary of State, the rules, and correct me if I'm wrong, Coyote, the font just has to be 11 on the Attorney General, and everything else has to be no larger than 8 font. And other than that, you can print out a petition, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it was from what I remember from our days in CFC. So that's going to go up. I'm not sure when exactly, as soon as possible for sure. Also, if you guys haven't checked out our merchandise on the IC, it's pretty cool stuff. I don't know. Some of you here have seen it. I dig it. It's not your standard organizational flair for merchandise. I'm talking about clothing, mugs, shoes. It's pretty. If you excuse the vernacular, pimp. I think it's pimp gear. I think it's really cool gear. I would sport it all the time. I mean, the shoes are dope. There's no other way to put it. It's dope ass shoes, man. I mean, it's got the Cali Bear on it. I mean, I love the shoes. I'm definitely getting a pair there. I think they're going for $60, which is decent for a pair of shoes. Anyways, website, and that's it. And then we've got 2 other topics, but I think that's really like an inner organizational topic. I don't think it really has to do with this one here. We're just talking about the petition, the leads, the chapter leads, and the website. And I think that's it, man. Yeah, that's it.
Sorry. We also are going to mention the website will also have activism stuff in it too, as well as merchandise and so forth. So we're getting pretty excited about it over here. So forgive us in advance. Yeah, we're looking at opening up somewhere. Looks like we will have a dozen chapters to open, which was our target figure. If you plot the curve, yeah, by the close of the year, it's possible we could have as many as 40 chapters. We will be sending out additional information on what those chapters will look like, and how many people, what does it take to do a chapter, and what will be the responsibilities of chapter leads. Forward. Joe has said that he's. Joe, are you able to give us a few words, or are you more inclined to do so on chat?
No, I can talk.
Joe, could you give us a brief update from where you are on the people and so forth?
Yes. So our political action committee is called Citizens for American Liberation. So it's CAL, Cal. I'm going to credit my wife for that. She came up with that amazing name. Okay, CalPAC. We have a bank account, and we are able to take donations technically. We are working on a way to get those up and going, where we can freely take donations by the end of the week. And we have a website, we have a domain, and we are working on that. We have a goal of the end of next week to get that up and operational and be able to take donations. We would like to get some donations in so that we can get some ads out. And the sooner we can get some donations in, the sooner we can get those ads out. We have a lot of ideas, and we are currently looking at strategies to maximize our potential revenue. All right. CalPAC is looking good. We are excited. We are ready to become the fundraising arm for California independence. All right. And then just a quick update on the Facebook group. So I just wanted to mention this real quick. this group has grown 100% organically. No effort has really been put into this. No money has ever been put into this group at all. And we've just passed 200 people in just a couple of weeks. So that's amazing. And I just want to say, my hat's off to everybody that helped make that possible. This is growing every day. We're getting new people, and it's amazing. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that's helping with that. But that's it. Yeah. Thank you.
Real quick, Hal, can Joe explain what his PAC is in 2 minutes? Can Joe explain what his PAC is?
Like what it is that we are going to be doing?
There's Americans outside of California. They don't like California. What we just saw, Ann Coulter, the Republican Party, Tim Pool. And your idea is to reach out to them with advertising in red states and say, hey, if you really don't like us, why don't you donate to get us the hell out? Something like that in a few minutes, just so, because we have different people here, this is being recorded. Could you briefly explain what it is? Hal, is that okay if he does that? Yeah, Joe, like 2-3 minutes. What is the PAC elevator speech? Please. Thank you, sir.
Honestly, there's a lot that we really don't want to go over because we are working on a marketing strategy for all of that. But briefly, I will say this. We are looking at a very unconventional way of bringing in revenue to fund this movement. So there's a lot that we're working on. I don't want to give away too much because we are trying to strategize and maximize the strategies that we have to maximize everything, the revenue that we've got coming in. We want to get the maximize the attention that we can get. We want to streamline our message. So we just want to let's just hold off on making any huge announcements as far as what we are doing. But I will say that we are ready with the bank account, with the website is coming along. We're just a couple of weeks away from that, but everything is looking good. Everything's on the up and up. So we're really excited.
Okay,
Excellent.
Hal.
Excellent. Actually, I was going to go to Jason next on this one.
It's Governor candidate Wildstar.
Well, I wanted to let me finish the housekeeping for a moment, and we've tasked Jason, and I've gotten a message from Cody Madden that's about the easing of restrictions on signature gathering. I believe a lot of this is due to COVID. On an update on the efforts to find out whether we can collect signatures online. Online signature gathering, maybe if that is possible, that could be part of the strategy that will put us over the top. Jason, do you have a moment?
Yeah, totally. I looked into it, and it turns out that the initiative that is we could legally push for a legislator, a current elected official of California, to basically copy and paste, just because it's a public document, so they could legally just copy and paste, and rather than let it go through the initiative process and gather signatures and take years, really to demand that our legislators get on this, because this is in the best interest of all of California. And they seem to have recently amended it, because 2 months ago when I had first seen it, it was only authorizing electronic signature gathering or initiativing is we decide that eating is everything.
Thank you, Jason. Okay, I thank everyone for their patience, and that's the IC. That would conclude the IC update. Marcus,
Okay, let's go to,
all yours.
okay, Governor candidate Wildstar. Are you there, sir? Nicholas Wildstar? Nick Wildstar? Okay, well, this is the part where we're going to have Nick Wildstar speak. I'm not sure if he stepped away for a second.
Hello?
Hey, Nick, there you are. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Nick Wildstar. Nick, thanks for coming out. Can you hear me okay, sir?
Certainly.
Okay, let me do a quick introduction for you, and then I'll turn it over. Hal, is that okay? Okay. So Nicholas Wildstar is a libertarian candidate. He is fiscally conservative, but he supports California values. He's been running for libertarian for a little while right now. He is well known amongst libertarians across America. I went to a staff meeting of his. I've seen a couple interviews, and I've interviewed him myself. The guy can think on his feet. He recently did an interview with the guy who interviewed me first, Sam Cheney. And, you know, Nick, I saw that interview. You did very well. You're able to think on your feet. So Nicholas Wildstar is running as a libertarian. He supports California values. He supports Black Lives Matter. But like me, he believes we could have less taxes and less regulations. But it doesn't matter. Our movement has always said that we will support any candidate who says that they support Calexit, as long as they don't go against California values. So if you support California values, you support Calexit, we want to hear from you. Nicholas Wildstar is the first political candidate in California to actually publicly support Calexit. Now, he did it under a few terms, but he publicly did it. That video is available for everybody. He's also been working with me to talk about proposing an initiative with Calexit to reinstitute the original text from Black Lives Matter into law. Nick, I'm going to take a step back, and please, if you'd walk everybody through who you are, why you love California, and what's this big idea about reinstituting the original text of Black Lives Matter, sir?
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I truly appreciate it, and thank everyone within the movement for giving me the opportunity to be heard by you all. As Marcus so handsomely put it, I have been a longtime advocate for the Calexit movement, I think since inception, believe it or not. I may have some videos on my YouTube channel supporting and speaking of the initiative way back when it began, again on my YouTube channel, which has over or nearly 30,000 subscribers. So as I said before, I have been a long-time advocate of police justice reform, and as well as ending systematic racism in our criminal justice system, and am hoping to make even more noise with the Calexit or Independent California, and I guess I should reword that now, with all of you on bringing more attention to the issue, because I am working with Marcus on reintroducing that AB 392 bill into law, which is the Stephon Clark law, which is to reduce the amount of excessive force police officers are able to use during an encounter. So that was authored by Dr. Patrice Cullors, who's a founding member of Black Lives Matter, and who was upset about the state legislators pretty much redacting much of the pertinent language in that bill that watered it down significantly. So Black Lives Matter refused to endorse the bill, but again, state legislators pushed it forward, and Governor Gavin Newsom signed that bill into law. Since then, which was, I believe, last August 2019, since then there's been over 120 officer-involved shootings, and there has not been many, any disciplinary action against the officers since then. So these are, of course, just city officials, state officials, virtue signaling, and not following through on their word. I'm a man of integrity and honor, and I feel like that's what our elected officials should be representing. And that's why I'm hoping to get elected as the next governor. And I did pursue these efforts before in the past, once in 2014 as an independent candidate, and then again in 2018 when I was nominated by the Libertarian Party as their candidate for governor. So during that election, I was able to garner about 13,000 votes or so, which I'm again hoping to increase significantly this time around. But I'm in need of help. I'm not a mainstream candidate. I'm not a big donor candidate. I'm not getting money from PACs or special interest groups or anything like that. The majority of the donations that I'm receiving is just from the average working class American. So I would ask for any type of publicity that could help either lead to donations or any type of support on the volunteer end to even just help bring more attention to my campaign. Pretty much scratch my back, scratch yours, because I'm not going to be able to be heard by the media. And I experienced that during my last gubernatorial run because as a third party candidate, I was pretty much ignored completely, even with me then having spoken out to support Calexit then, as well as the 6 States California initiative and Jefferson State initiative as well. So I was vocal in supporting all of the above and still was ignored. So again, I'm hoping that I will be heard by more people and putting in the effort to do so by pretty much crossing party lines, I would say. I am embraced by Democrats simply because I'm a black man. So I could go into Democratic circles and, Black Lives Matter rallies, and I'm well welcome because of that. But the minute I start talking about policy issues and changes and et cetera, that's when I'm silenced. The Republican Party, however, has been well open to what I have to offer, surprisingly. And as I said, I've been involved in these Reopen California protests here, which have pretty much been promoted by the Republican Party, and lots of Trump supporters, right-wing conservatives attend them. And I have spoken out to them about criminal justice reform, about increasing about accountability, and of course, reining in our tax dollars and making sure that we're able to be spending those effectively instead of wastefully, having them be used. And they are again, very welcoming to that. So I'm again hoping that with this new effort for governor of California, I'm able to get more attention, and I will continue to speak out about Calexit as I did yesterday and in Newport Beach, where I spoke with 3 different publications who asked me pretty much the same issue over and over. And each time I spoke about reintroducing AB 392 in its entirety in partnership with Calexit and Yes California. So that's pretty much all that I'm looking for, is a continued partnership to help bring attention to what both of us are trying to achieve, and that's really independence here in the state of California. I believe that the state of California could benefit significantly from financial independence, of course, with us being one of the largest economies in the world. We're probably 5th or 6th, but we could definitely be catapulted to 1st without much of government interference. So that's what I'm proposing to do once elected, and hopefully that'll excite those involved in the Calexit movement to continue to stay part of the union. But if the federal government isn't on board with making sure that what we want to bring to fruition does actually come to life, then to hell with them. We're going to keep fighting, and we're going to at least give the people of California an opportunity to vote on the issue and make the choice for themselves.
That's beautiful.
I could
That's
keep
beautiful.
going, but
I'm gonna let Hal ask you any questions because IC's going to be the grassroots organizer. But for everybody's knowledge, this was the official announcement. Hal, I told you this was coming. This is one of the surprises I told you I was working on. Yes, California is committed to keeping the media going on the existing Calexit initiative that will be out next week on 9/11. One of the best ways we found to do that was to file additional initiatives on different topics after the first initiative is out. Governor candidate Nicholas Wildstar has agreed, you just heard him, to work with Calexit to file an initiative to have the original Black Lives Matter text instituted into law. This is the key thing all of you need to get. Black Lives Matter wrote how they want things changed. They literally said it specifically in 2019, written by Dr. Calores. Black Lives Matter was invented by 2 Californians. Okay, kneeling for the flag was invented here in California. The majority of the movement was here. The Black Panther was from California. The Black Panther's writer of the famous movie was a Californian. We need to back this. And unfortunately, the government of California pulled a fast one. I'm not blaming anybody, but I'm just saying, here was the text, and the day before they go, ha ha ha, tricked you, and said it's a good deal. This is nothing. They passed nothing. They pulled out all the teeth, they passed nothing, and then they act like it. And the reason that I reached out to Nick is because I'm Latino. I've seen them do this. All right, they did it with the repeal of the 187 initiative. It was a lie. They said, oh, we're helping out all you Latinos out there in California. We're going to repeal 187. No, you didn't. You did nothing. You acted like it. You virtue signaled. Now, I love California values, and I love standing up for minorities. You know that. You know, I'll get in a Trump supporter's face and yell and scream, and I have a good day. But we should not be tricking people. And if our movement is actually about standing up for Californians, then we need to call out the truth wherever it is. Folks, we have no rep. This is how we get our rep. Standing for the right thing before it was popular, not when everybody else is saying it. Nobody has the courage to do this now. You want to be known as different? You want to be known as real leaders? You want to be known as not the same old party and the same old system going forward? We need to work with Nicholas Wildstar on refiling an initiative to institute the actual law that BLM wanted. If you actually care about Black Lives Matter, this is the way to make it happen. Nothing else you do is going to be as big. Folks, Calores is a genius. Shankar's met her. Talk to Shankar, he's met her. I listened to every word Shankar said when he talked about meeting Dr. Calores. She's brilliant. She figured out exactly what we need to do to change the system. And they gutted it and tried to trick her. That's not okay. We shouldn't allow Californians to be treated that way. And also, folks, I got to tell you, Calexit works with an African-American candidate on an African-American reform law. Can you talk about media explosion while we're pursuing Calexit? I'm asking everybody to, whether you back Calexit or not, whether you have family that likes Calexit or not, ask them if they give a shit about Black lives. And if they do, they need to step up and back this initiative. I have personally said that, yes, California will do this. And I expect all of you, if you actually care about BLM, here's where it counts. Now's the time to do the thing that matters. We are launching this initiative. This is me reaching out to you on the ground floor and say, jump in. Some of you said, hey, I wasn't consulted here and there. This is you being consulted day one. You need to back Governor Wildstar on this initiative. Now, I know a lot of us are lefty. I get it. And I'm not super happy when Nick brings up the Republican Party either. I left the Republican Party for racism. But we said we were going to work with any politician who supports California values and Calexit. Nick has done that. I didn't ask you to endorse everything he said. I didn't ask you to become a libertarian. I said work with a man, a Californian, who's willing to do real change and stands for our values. and has already publicly endorsed Calexit. Folks, that's what we said was the requirement to join. Okay? It's time for all of us to live up to our initiative and do this. And here's the reason why. If we're able to show that we can work with different politicians, more are going to come. Do you understand this is how we get into power? It's politicians saying, maybe I don't agree with you, maybe you don't agree with me, but I'll talk with you. This is how we do it. Nick, I'm going to shut up, let you have a few more minutes, and then Hal, it goes back to you. Is that okay, Nick and Hal?
Yep.
Sounds
Nick?
good to me.
Yeah, Nick, close it out, and then Hal.
You got it. Well, as Marcus put it again, we need to definitely come together and show some collectivism on this issue. And I think it would be extremely symbolic for us to show how we're able to cross party lines with a sensitive issue such as this, one so controversial and divisive, yet we are unified in saying that something needs to change. And if we are able to do so in a way to where, again, more people are able to see what we're doing and our efforts behind it, they'll jump on board. They'll jump on board with hopefully electing me the next governor, and of course with making sure that I'm following through with my promises, or else we will push to succeed. And that's where you guys come in to play, because your goal is to hold anybody and everybody accountable, including those candidates that you are working with in the event that they do get elected. So that's my promise to you, of course, is to know that I'm going to be a man of my word and do as I say. Unless, of course, I'll have to deal with the ramifications of such. And I'm also working with We Have Rights. We Have Rights organization. They've been able to mobilize tens of thousands of people in the state of California to go out to these Reopen California protests. So they're a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization. And like I said, they're able to bring out these groups of people to promote the recall for Governor Gavin Newsom. So I'm bringing attention to the campaign on that platform and am marrying in all of my work with you guys to bring attention to all of what we're doing to provide, again, more independence here in the state of California, because sovereignty is our key to freedom. And I'm going to articulate that as much as I can to every community here in California, Black, white, Mexican, Chinese, whatever the case may be. You're here in California, whether you're born here in America or not, you deserve to be here and you deserve to be heard. And that's where I'm going to come in as a speaker for we, the people of California. I could probably go on forever, but that's what politicians do, right?
By necessity, I believe.
Yes.
Well, our focus and the reason for, and generally speaking, the reason for an independent California, hello, Shankar, I'll get you in a moment, is the fact that California values are simply not supported within the confines of the United States. It is good to hear someone who is running for state office echo those sentiments. The only question I would have, and I have a habit of asking bad questions, goes that most of the libertarians that I've met, that I've run into, as in like the 2016 campaign, when Gary Johnson started to show himself to be an unviable candidate, basically jumped to Trump. So an alliance with libertarian candidates. Can you speak to that for a moment?
Indeed, I'd be happy to. Well, as with any party or political party and anyone that professes to such, no one is really loyal to the party itself. They think they are, but when it boils down to principles, even just subtleties, I can be speaking with a supporter, and the minute they ask me about abortion, and I would say I'm pro-choice, and they ask me, what does that mean? And I have to clarify that I believe that everybody should have the choice to choose what they do with their own bodies, and that shouldn't be dictated by government. And that means anything, whether it be abortion, drug use, or tattoos, or carbonated drinks, whatever the case may be. Government shouldn't be dictating what you do with your body, male or female. And it just does not compute. And at that point, I lose the person's support. And that'll happen, And so I'm going to be faced with that. I have been faced with that myself as a candidate, to where when I was running for governor in 2018, I had supposed loyalists to the Libertarian Party now support a Republican candidate because of those nuances. So that's what I mean when it boils down to people and their them being loyal to a political party. Unfortunately, that does happen, and it will happen. And I'm not saying that it won't happen in 2022 when the next gubernatorial election happens. But what we can do is maximize our opportunity to mobilize and unify those people that are being ignored, that feel like they aren't really right, aren't really left, don't fit anywhere, politically, want to ditch the right, want to ditch the left, but don't want to go to either, Those are the people that we want to attract to go out to the voting polls and make sure that I get elected. And that's what I'm saying is we can work together and just show true unity in so many forms, and just pretty much shatter any and all stereotypes that the mainstream media has built around the political system. Then we win. There's over 40 million people in California. The last election, 10 million people showed up at the voting polls. That's absurd for so many people to be able to make the choice, the ultimate choice, for how the state body for all of us is going to exist. So if we can, get those people energized and motivated to go out to the voting polls, then we can change the numbers here. We can upset the balance. And that's what I really want to do.
Okay. A principle, part of the California independence principle is that California as a standalone nation is, generally speaking, one of the most viable options for these organizations like Black Lives Matter, where, forgive me in advance, but we're basically 50 years since the death of Martin Luther King, and we are still having the same discussions. So would you be willing to promote California independence as a viable alternative for these social issues that we're basically spinning our wheels as being in part of the United States?
Yeah, I agree with you. There are federal policies that, does make it more uncomfortable for us to live in a more peaceful, harmonious way. And I would do everything in my power to nullify and reverse those policies. And as a Black man, I'm going to do everything in my power, of course, in the community to improve race relations. And that's by removing all of those beliefs that certain people believe, or certain people behave a certain way, or speak a certain way, or think a certain way. And if we can just show more community in government, then that's where we can make our mark. I don't really know much more what to say. I mean, because as I would have to bring into accord all of what we are up against. We're going to be changing completely. It's unorthodox. Like you said, it's 50 years since Martin Luther King died, but how much has his dream of unity come to life? And even 3 years after that, he said, you know, I feel like that was all for naught. And here we are now, fast forward, and everyone is feeling that way. How can we improve that relationship? So if we can start first by making an example here in the state of California, then hopefully the rest of the people in the country will follow suit. My goal, again, is to avoid any need for us to have to separate from the union and prove to the union why we are the greatest asset to the union. But if they don't see that value, then as I said before, I will stand for our freedoms and liberties and defend that to the utmost strength and capability of my authority. But ultimately, that's going to boil down to the choice of the California people. So if it's put on a ballot to where the people of California would like to succeed because they're not getting what they want from the federal government and they're making it more difficult and they choose to do so, then so be it. And that's just the way it's going to be.
Marcus, Mr. Wildstar, at this time, should we open the floor for discussion?
No,
No?
no. Nick was here to make an introduction. Nick is not here for hard questions.
Okay.
Nick is not here for that. Nick is a political candidate. He has already released a statement saying that there's a way that he would support Calexit. That's all we can ask of politicians. I'm reading the comments, and I agree with all of you in the comments, but let's get real. We are not in the position to demand politicians do it just how we want.
No, we're not.
We ain't there yet. So what we need to show is that we're reasonable and we'll work with a wide array of people. That's how you get politicians to pay attention to you. Dude, Michael Feinstein, Green Party founder, helped us with the initiative, okay? Nick Wildstar, Libertarian, is coming around here. Alistair Caithness, member of the Libertarian Party, is on yes. Bob Hertzberg, Democratic, highest ranking Democrat, has joined on LinkedIn. We need to be more comfortable. I am not saying when we bring a politician on that I'm asking you to back everything they say. Get that idea out of your head. But this is called politics. You're going to be friendly to a lot of people or we're going to go nowhere. Understand that. This is how it's done. You have to work with a wide array of people. So I'd like to end the conversation. I know people want to have Nick here, but Nick was... Shankar, one question. Here's the thing, folks. If you say something that I don't like, this is my guest, and I will personally be very upset. So be very nice. Okay, I worked hard to get Nick here. Let's be kind, please.
Marcus, I'm kind to all the guests, and you know that. I'm not here to grill anybody. I'm not here. Anything that supports independence, especially a gubernatorial candidate that supports it, you think I'm not going to support it myself? Come on now. You know me better than that, Marcus. Nicholas, I just have a couple of questions for you really quick, man. You're a libertarian candidate, correct? Nicholas?
Yes, I am.
Is he there?
Yes,
hey man,
I am.
do you know Mimi Robles by any chance?
Who again?
Mimi,
of course, the chair.
Awesome. Great. She loves us. She supports us all the way. She knows, and I know, and you know too, Libertarian Party, a lot of its new members now are kind of Republican light. We're just embarrassed by the Republican name. They turned themselves Libertarian. You address that right now. You spoke about it right now, and I'm glad you acknowledged that, man, because that is a key thing. But the core principles of libertarianism, which is independence, Mimi understands it, and you understand it, and I'm glad. And the other second question I wanted to say was BLM. The bill that you're going to reintroduce. have you talked to Miss Colors or Miss Abdullah that you're going to reintroduce it, or did you want to? Because I mean, just yesterday I was at the
I would be open to
event,
it.
and okay, all right. I think we should probably like touch base with them really quick, and then before we move forward with it. I know yesterday I was at a BLM event in South Central. We blocked the 105 freeway. Sorry, Hal. Don't worry. I'll give you the deets later on that one. But you know, we there's video too, Hal. You'll love it. You love where I was too, bud. But you know what? I back BLM up all the way. They are well aware of independent California. They've seen our shirts out there as an ally. So if you need to set up a meeting or an email meeting or whatever, how you want to communicate with Miss Abdullah or Miss Colors, we should probably do that before submitting reintroducing that AB bill. Maybe there's something they want to change in it, man. Maybe there's something they'd rather do different. I'm all for putting it in, though, man. That's great. I love the angle that you're coming from, because you're a black man with the Democrats going to love, and then you got libertarian, which the right is going to love. You're out of the blue. The only last question I would have is are you aware of, like, there's a political party within our movement called the CNP? I don't know if you ever heard of them, the California National Party. They're not a viable and actual party or not, but just wondering if you heard of them, because they don't have enough members. But
What was the question again?
the California National Party, have you ever heard of them, or?
I have not.
Okay, no worries, man. No worries. I just wanted to see if you may have heard their name or knew about it. They're the party within the movement.
No.
They're trying to qualify. Right.
No, as a candidate,
that's
it's all about going big or go home, and that's what I'm saying. I've kind of surveyed the scene, and people are stuck in, I must vote for a Republican, I must vote for a Democrat.
Yeah.
I'm throwing away my vote if I vote other than that. So my goal is to, again, infiltrate both groups and show them otherwise. You know, we're going to throw away our vote this time on this guy. You know, you threw it away on the Democrat, and look at what he's done to the state. You threw it away on Republicans before. You recalled one of them, and then you got the Schwarzenegger in there, the governor. So neither one of them made anything worse, better. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean they give me all the ammo that I need to prove why they're not viable. I need help to prove why we're the most viable.
Okay, man. That's all I had to ask. Let's try and before you take that bill, and let's try and set that meeting up and make sure that
now,
we got BLM
may I
saying
say
okay on
something
it,
about that? May I say something about that? Now, I do know it's a certain level of politics involved with these individuals. So because of that, I'm letting you know I'm an unyielding person. So if I have demands and they have demands, and we don't see eye to eye, I'm going to continue forth without them.
Okay, let them know that. Yeah, just let them know that.
Because my devotion is to making sure that everything gets better. Some people,
of course,
find motivation and influences in other factors, and I don't care for any of that stuff. I don't care for fame. I don't care for money. I don't care for clout. I don't care for any of that. I care for getting the job done. And we need to make sure this issue is addressed immediately.
Yep.
And if they are on board, I'm going to demand, if anything, that they jump on board with supporting the recall of Newsom.
Absolutely.
Because he's
absolutely, man. I mean, with what? I'm sorry.
No, because I was going to say he's failed in delivering and addressing the issue.
Okay, I really appreciate it. I know people have a lot of questions. This was my guest. He was here to present something. He was not here to be grilled. I can have him back if he wants, and you can ask all the questions you want. Additionally, I'm going to give the email and stuff out, but folks, we got to be nice and gentle when we have
Did I
guests.
grill him?
No, Shankar, you're not.
Was I not
I'm just
nice?
saying-
Was I nice?
I'm gonna grill him on one.
Okay, in the nicest possible way, I'd really like to let Governor Wildstar as a candidate go and say thank you for his time. And then I'll give you contact information and everybody can follow up with him afterwards. Is that acceptable, Governor Wildstar?
I would be happy to. I appreciate it. I'm not avoiding any hard questions. I'm happy to answer any and all questions. So if this isn't the time or place, just let me know when and where, and I'll be there.
Okay, it's my call. I'm making a call and asking you to take off, and I appreciate it. I will invite you back on for hard questions. I just wanted people to get to know you and know that you were going to back a Black Lives Matter original text legislation with Calexit, and that's all. I can bring him back, and I understand some people are not happy with me. You can contact me personally. It was my decision. Thank you, Governor Wildstar. Hal, is it okay if we ask the governor candidate to take off and we continue the rest of the meeting? Okay, Nick, thanks for coming. I will bring you back in. I'm asking you to leave the meeting now, Nick, and I will follow up with you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And thank you all for your time. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. I get not everybody was happy with my decision. You can follow up with me after the meeting. I will explain it. We still have a meeting with Jason, Matt, Hannah needs to make a statement, Sue needs to make a statement, Professor Williams wanted to make a statement, and I believe someone else needed to make a statement. So I want to make sure everybody gets a chance. So Hal, the next person is Jason, and then Matt Owens, and then Hannah and Sue, and I'll make sure we go through that. So Jason and then Matt, Jason for a few minutes, and then Matt for a few minutes, and then Hannah, and then Sue, and then Professor Williams. We'll get to everybody.
Jason, you are unmuted.
Thank you. So this is going to be a little bit lengthy. It's mainly a presentation of facts, so just bear with me.
You're breaking up terribly.
Oh my goodness.
I can translate for Jason. Jason, say a few sentences and then I'll repeat it. Sorry, that's the way we'll have to do it. I understand what Jason's saying. I'll literally just translate it.
Okay.
Say a few things and I'll repeat it. Sorry, Hal.
No.
Okay, so state defense forces, is that coming through clear?
Just start, Jason. Just start.
Okay, so every single state in the United States has what is called a state defense force, an SDF. California has it, New York has it. Every state has the capacity to have one, but like 22 or 23 actually have them. Of the ones that have them, all but one or two are so small that they're not, I mean, not to poke fun at them or discredit them, but they're so small that they don't really get considered as actual military forces. They are not seen as viable because they are so small and so underfunded. They are underfunded because, hey, Stephen Hawking, something like that. Underfunded because the states choose to put more money into the federal state forces rather than their own state forces. Rather than state defense force, they're putting it into National Guard. National Guard can get called on by the feds to do pretty much anything that the Fed says, hey, jump, go do this now. State defense forces are only able to be used in that state for that state's needs. California has a state defense force, and we could be using them for, training them up for things like fighting wildfires as they come up, and, dispersing humanitarian aid to those affected by wildfires. Paradise is gone forever, permanently, burned to California National Guard or California State Guard could have been there helping those people. Instead, what we saw was federally funded forces going in and distributing and helping. And yeah, they helped, but it was this much. And the people needed this much. But because this is coming from the Fed and not California, we had to settle for this much. So there is nothing mandating that any state pay anything into the federal National Guard forces. There is no law mandating that California pay for federal forces to be here. It is also encouraged by, who was that? That was the, sorry, I'm looking at my notes. The Inspector General of the Department of Defense of the United States of America berated his own people for not including state defense forces, for not making it the utmost priority, for not making sure they are completely and wholly funded and usable. He went as far as to say that state defense forces, and this is a quote, are an untapped asset which could provide significant cost-effective contributions to defense.
Let me repeat what Jason said, just so, Jason, real quick, just if you go to the chat box, I typed out what he said, so you can literally read the transcript. Basically, what he's saying is there's the National Guard and the State Guard. National Guard can be federalized, it can be sent overseas to fight a war. National Guard is half state funding, half federal funding. Because it's half federal funding, it has to constantly apply for federal grants. Because of that, the federal government can say, well, you have to be ready to be deployed to a war zone. So if the National Guard's saying, hey, we want to fight fires, we want to train for flooding, they won't do that. Why? Because if they spend most time being prepared to train for an invasion of a Middle Eastern country, they get more federal funds. So because their funding is joint federal and state, there is always this attraction to do everything the feds want. The feds are mostly concerned about being ready for deployment, not defending the state with the things we have. Jason's saying if we fund the State Guard, then they cannot be federalized. And we can have them be trained for whatever we want. And there won't be anybody saying, no, I don't think you need to do fire training. Why don't you work on invading and decimating a foreign city full of Muslims? So that's what's going on now. There's no law saying we have to fund the National Guard. We could transfer all the funding from the National Guard to the State Guard, have a State Guard that is trained to fight fires, trained to do what we want. We won't beg for anybody, fully fund the whole thing, and there's nothing stopping us from doing that, period. Furthermore, the federal government said you should fund your state guards and criticized states for not doing so. So if anybody wants to say this is an American, why don't you go say the Secretary of Defense didn't know what he's talking about? Transcripts on the thing. Jason, please keep going.
Awesome. Yeah, and that was perfect. Yeah, so I saw students posted in the comments, how do we stop funding the National Guard? That is exactly what this presentation is about. Thank you, Sue. So, all of these notes right here is everything we need to know on how to and what to do to make this initiative, to make this happen. Because there's no law stating that California has to fund the national, federal forces. That means all we have to do is push for our legislators, our current elected officials, right? We can do it by initiative process. We can try to create a mandate that way. We could also be like very vocal grassroots movement and try to push for a mandate that way. And, though it's never really a guarantee, if you've got, 80% of California's populace giving money to the federal forces, strength in California, then, you know, Newsom, who is looking at facing a recall, he's smart enough to know, well, gee, I can either do nothing with 80% of my constituents saying do something, and then we'll probably get recalled with my job, and I'm not governor anymore. Or I can go and do what the people are demanding me to do. Those are two options. I really believe that the initiative process stands a better chance. Awesome, too. You, boom, first one right there. You're on the group. I'm going to form this group. It's not starting to meet yet, but once the Independence Suicide Initiative is up and running and we are starting to gather signatures, as we are promoting SB 392, right? The original Patrice Gallore's,
Yes.
yeah. While we're supporting that and gathering signatures, this is a very pro-California, it's very California acting as its own independently of the federal government, right? Is it making California an independent nation? No. Does it ring home with California independence and California values and California safety and security? Oh, hell yeah. And that's what we're going to sell, is that this right here is for California. And as people are talking about that, the only natural thing that they are going to be led to is, oh, by the way, these are the same people that did the Calexit initiative seeking independence. And they are also in support of the original text of Black Lives Matter, SB 392. This is also going to...
Let me translate real quick for everybody. Jason's saying that this is an initiative he's asking everybody to help support. It will help with everything we're already doing. It's going to be filed after the existing Calexit initiative. It's not saying Calexit, it's saying let's transfer funding and have people be prepared to fight wildfires. Everybody's going to support that. In fact, if you have no opinion on what we're doing here, or even if you don't like what we're doing here, that's an idea that will sell. It stands on its own legs. Hey folks, do you like wildfires burning down? Do you like our governor begging for help? No? Wow, why don't we fix that one time forever? Also, how would you like it if our defense forces sent to another foreign war like they did with Iraq? You know how many Californians got killed in Iraq? They were shipped out unprepared. When they send the National Guard out to a war, you are not trained and you are not equipped. The death rate for National Guard soldiers versus professional soldiers was like 3 to 1. So Californians get sent, they get killed, we get nothing. Governor Schwarzenegger begged George W. Bush for help because he sent all of our troops overseas and we had nothing. So this is the third governor begging for help. Isn't that disgusting and despicable for us as Californians? Shouldn't we have our own people stay here to take care of ourselves? That's based on our money. That's what Jason's saying. And he's saying, look, we have an initiative, we're pushing Calexit, and then we have an initiative saying we're standing up for our guard to make sure we can fight wildfires. You don't even have to like Calexit. You could hate Calexit, but back that initiative. And then Calexit's also joining with Black Lives Matter to improve the legislation. You don't even have to like Calexit, but back that initiative. And so what Jason's saying is that we have a Calexit initiative, and then we have 2 additional fronts. You don't even need to like Calexit to back those, but Calexit's going to be on those signatures. So Calexit's attached to those initiatives. So any news the Black Lives Matter initiative gets and any news the State Defense Force gets, we get news. See how that keeps us in the media constantly? Keeps the media talking about our Calexit initiative because we have additional initiatives, but you don't have to support Calexit to support those. This is how we go pro. This is how we keep people talking. This is how we keep the initiative in the news. That's what Jason's saying. I'll stop.
California values.
Well, and so if I can continue real quick, I would like to point out, this is not my idea. It's not from me. This is from the group. we all talked about this a few weeks ago. We all came up with this idea and started talking about it. And yeah, it was a group idea. It is not me. It is not my idea. I'm going to take the initiative, go ahead and, try and help make sure that this thing happens. But this is going to require a group effort. And it only ever even started because it was a group idea. So I want to make that very clear. I'm not like, oh, me, this is my idea, everyone get behind me, right? None of that. This is all about the group, California independence. That's it.
He's saying that the idea came from a group chat last conference. So there was like 7 or 8 people on a group chat and everybody seemed to love this idea. And then Jason went with this. So what he's saying is not his idea. It's literally from the group. Apparently 7 of you all had some discussion and everybody wildly supported this idea. That prompted Jason to do this. So if anybody's asking where this came from, you all did it. And 7 of you backed it. And that's the only reason we're moving on the idea. Thank you all. I think that's it for Jason. Hal?
Yeah, so if I can, anyone who's interested in being a part of that, Stu, I've seen that you're interested. Anyone who is interested, let me know. In a couple of weeks, we'll start to meet and do all of that.
All right.
Got it.
Who's next on the agenda?
Matt Owens is going to talk for 5 minutes about a lesson from history. Yes, it's a history lesson. Hold on. It's 5 minutes long, folks. Okay, I already went over it with Matt. It's going to be short and sweet. Yes, I love history too, but yes, Matt has very long history lessons. This is a 5-minute one. I think it's worth listening to. It won't be more than 5 minutes. I've already worked with Matt. Matt's going to make it short and sweet. And then we're going to go to Hannah and Sue for 5 minutes. Matt, would you please give us the shocking history lesson you gave me for 5 minutes total, sir?
Well, before I do that, could you put Sue on, because she's got some stuff she wants to get out. So if I yield the floor to Sue before me.
If you all don't mind, I'll take just 2 minutes for this ask. I'm asking everyone in the meeting except for Marcus and Daniel, who've already coughed up some money for this, for just $2.50, because that'll do it. That'll cover a website hosting for 3 years for California, for Campground Cali. And if you haven't discovered that yet, email me and I will show you everything I've got written up on this so far. So far, it's not a reality, but it's going to be hopefully by 2021 or 2. I'm going to get us a piece of land to call Nation of California. It will not be under your U.S. jurisdiction. $2.50 will get us the website, which will help me get a grant. It will also help me to turn this thing into a 501c3. So get to me and ask me about that if you want a little more information about that. I have a board of people, board of directors behind me on this. They're great people, and I've been discussing this on in our Google groups quite a bit. So look for that too. Thanks a lot, guys. I yield the floor.
Okay, Matt, 5 minutes, please. No more than 5, please.
Simple note, I'm on, Sue put me on the board of that for her, and I did kick a couple of bucks using PayPal. I hope it got to her. Okay. It went from me. I hope it got to her.
So, Matt, your time has started, sir.
Okay. There was a professor by the name of Robert O. Paxton who recently wrote first an article and then a book on the rise of fascism. The article was 5 Stages of Fascism. And in the article, which is the basis of the book, Professor Paxton noted that at first, fascism looks like any other social movement. He analyzed it as a movement, not just ideas. The first stage is the ideas. The second is when it turns into a social movement. Already, it begins to distinguish itself from other social movements by attacking them. Okay, its goal is to thwart other social movements, particularly on the left. Not just on the left of itself, but on the left of the folks who are in power. And this leads us to the third and crucial stage, which distinguishes fascist movements from other movements that it attacks. And that it has to, in order to come to power, align itself with the powers that be, which after all, even though it's criticizing, sometimes violently, it is also defending their power and wanting to share power with them. What's crucial about that is this. They convince those in power to ally with them in order to exclude anybody to the left of them. Those in power would rather, if not ally, at least put up with the fascists in order to remain in power. They would rather work with them than work with anybody on the left. The classic case study is Germany in the 1930s. You had communists and Nazis battling out on streets. They also became the two largest parties in the Reichstag. Out of the Great Depression, the Nazis became the leading party. Right behind them was the Communist Party. Third was the Social Democrats. And then various other parties. That's on the floor of the Reichstag, the parliament. The Weimar Republic only had two presidents, however. One was the one they started out with in the German Revolution. I believe his name was Ebert of the Social Democrats. And he's the one that sicked the fry cords on anybody to the left of him. Then, after the Social Democrats, came the conservative Paul von Hindenburg, who served a number of terms. And in the election of 1933, because there was no party in the majority on the floor of the Reichstag, it was up to Hindenburg to name the chancellor, because they couldn't agree on one. So he broke the stalemate by going to the largest party on the floor of the Reichstag, who did not have a majority. Nobody did. That is to say, to the Nazis, and he named Hitler chancellor. And that's when you begin to see the Nazis stop fighting the cops and start marching with them, and the cops stopped fighting the Nazis, and they both went after the communists. So that is when the Nazis went from being a party to partnering with the conservatives to become the party on the floor of the Reichstag. What do we see now in the US? We see a DNC which has shown repeatedly that it would rather exclude those to the left of it than have to go back and forth with these fascists who have taken over the Republican Party. Now, they've done a very savvy thing, the DNC has. They've invited Republicans disgruntled with these fascists to join them and support their candidate. But as far as anybody to the left of them, forget about it. Forget about it. So now we have a situation in which first Antifa, and then Black Lives Matter, and now other folks are fighting the fascists in the streets. The fascists are attacking them. Okay, they're coming up in their convoys and attacking them. It's coming up on a shooting war between them. And guess who the cops side with? Time after time after time. We've seen this.
1 minute.
So
1 minute.
So we're right at stage 3. That's my point. We are right at stage 3 in the US, in which the powers that be are both inside and outside the Republican Party may compete against the fascists, But the conflict isn't that big. The greater conflict is between all of them, as in Germany in the 1930s, between all of them and the folks who were taken to the streets. That's where we're at right now. Okay, the fascists have done the crucial thing. They've gotten to those who would rather put up with them than share power with anybody to the left of them.
Okay,
So,
that's time.
right
Thank
there.
you.
We're
Thank
right
you,
there.
Matt.
Thank you.
Okay, Hal, back to you. We have a comment from Hannah and then a comment from Sue. Hal, we have finished all of our main speakers, so this is just letting everybody have a second chance. So Hal, we're done with our agenda. We're just letting people talk, so we should be getting ready to wind down the meeting and the recording. Hannah, then Sue. Oh, then Professor Williams, sorry. Hannah, then Sue, then Professor Williams.
Okay, everybody. I'm not going to comment on what Matt had to say. I'm going to make it really short. Just simply talk about, the buttons. Yay, here they are. One is, if you didn't know, it's, this is intended to be the campaign button for all the events. And this is kind of the, America is sinking, kind of our one-shot statement. I sent them to Marcus, I sent them to Daniel, and I sent some to Sue. If you want to know why you didn't get any, it's not because I hate your guts. It's because it comes out of the price of the shipping comes out of my pocket. And I already put enough money into this. And even the buttons themselves are looking at over $150. So what I will tell you, I have done some research. Thank you very much, Marcus. What I have done some research is that to find out that it looks, cross fingers, but it looks like selling on Amazon may be a really good way because I don't have to deal with the shipping. And of course, another beautiful thing is it solves kind of our promotional issues, right? If somebody's looking for California stuff, there's a chance they will get our stuff when it says other people search for this. You know what I'm talking about. You all use Amazon. You know what I'm talking about. So, but the main thing is it means I just sort of send them the product. Apparently that's how it works. You can just send them the product. They will ship it out, box it, and give you the money, which means I don't go crazy. And I can have a life, and maybe I can do some other things like writing and stuff that I should be doing and not trying to play shipping clerk. Maybe the other groups should probably consider this as well, by the way, if they haven't got it, because I'm just suggesting that being a shipping clerk is not a lot of fun, and you guys are all way too talented to be spending time on that. So even maybe you want to keep the money, but and we should just talk about that more. But I'll let you know. I'm going to put it on Google Groups and I'll put it on Facebook stating this is how you get this stuff. And then the idea is I'm hoping that they'll just take care of the shipping for me. And then I can just go order more and ship them product and that sort of process that it will work. Oh, one last little piece. I'm proud to say that these buttons are made in California, in Sacramento, California. Buttonworks.com. Highly recommend the company. They've been wonderful to me. So you got employing actual Californians when you're getting this stuff. Okay, that's all I had to say. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, Hannah. Okay, who's next?
Sue, and then Professor Williams.
Sue.
So, I just want to take a roll call, real quick, of who will pledge me $2.50 right now just to get this website up, just this once. $2.50, all it would take from each and every one of you, other than Matt, Marcus, and Daniel, who've already coughed up a little bit of money for this website. It'll be hosted for 3 years for this $90 that I'm collecting. I've already collected $48 of the 90 from 3 of you. So, raise of hands. Who will pledge me $2.50 more? Shankar, thank you so much, sir.
Of course, guys. I just want to make. I just want to, Sue, if I could, please, for what Sue's trying to do is super important, guys. It's the future of where the movement and all of the orgs need to go. This is land, guys. I promised Sue that I would help her. I can't do it right now because of the petition stuff. But look, Sue's on the right path with this. Please help her out as much as you can and donate what you can.
I'm having an attorney named Rosemary Lemus, who's a member of our group. Thank you so much, Coyote. Help me write up the 501c this week, I think tomorrow. And I'm also I'm researching how to get grants, and I'm talking to real estate agents already about the land. So this has gotten real. It's not getting real, it's gotten real. All I need is $2.50 from each of you, Hannah and Walter, if you don't mind, and Jason, and Shankar already said he would, and everybody else who's here, Christian, Steve Beard, Nicola, and Joe Payne, if you don't mind, $2.50 from each of you today would really, really get this done. And because I already have a guy on building our website, I have the content to give to him. All I don't have is the money, and $2.50 from each of you would cover it. And if you could get that to me this weekend or very soon this week, that would be awesome. Through my PayPal account, through my email address at Gmail. It's suehirsch01@gmail.com. And if you don't have it, Marcus has it, or email, find me on Facebook, whatever you need to do. Please track me down and just give me $2.50 sometime early this week. I yield
I
the floor.
donated.
Question, Sue.
I already
Thank
donated.
you so much. Thank you so much, Marcus and Daniel and Matt, for already having donated. And thank you for the pledge, Shankar and Coyote Marin.
Hey, I know you're gonna get this a lot, but Central Coast is beautiful every time of year. Just kidding.
All right, how about next?
Professor Williams wanted to say something, and then that's the last person I had who wanted to say something. Professor Williams?
Let me make sure you are unmuted. You're not unmuted, Professor Williams.
And can you hear me now?
Yes.
I can hear you now, yes. Thank you.
Just one thing in direct reply to what Sue just said. Sue, you may have done this earlier, but I don't really have a real clear understanding of what this whole project is about. I mean, I've been donating my money to support the initiative. And so I do have some questions about that. And so if it wouldn't be too much trouble, if you could just have a, kind of a short statement of what the whole purpose is and where it's going, I think that would be very helpful.
Yeah, let me also put the mission statement in the chat box. Give me 1 second here to
Not in the
snatch
chat
them.
box, send it as an email. Okay, email is better than the chat box.
Oh, okay. Right,
Okay.
got it.
Okay.
That the mission statement is also within the body of the text of the link I sent you, and it's right near the very top of the thing that will open up when you click the link I just put in the chat box.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Marcus, I just wanted to make a point when Mr. Wildstar was here, and I don't, I agree with what Hannah said in the chat that he's a grown man, he's an experienced politician. I think we could have, while we had him here, asked some questions. I wasn't meaning anything to be hostile in the least, but I wanted to find out, for example, he made some very good statements about the Black Lives Matter, and I was happy to see that. But I wanted to see something about what the Libertarian Party's approach would be to say on the undocumented and immigration issues in general. So I think if we do have visitors in the future, you can expect that we're going to be professional and polite to them. I don't think it's necessary to just say nobody can say anything, but definitely I want to be able to follow through, like you said, to be able to contact him. One of the points that I wanted to make with him is that third parties in American history have not that often elected their candidates. However, they have served a very important purpose historically by introducing new ideas and new approaches in their platforms. And this can be seen, you know, going back to the Populist Party in the 19th century, the Progressive Party, all the way through up to like the Libertarians. So I wanted to see what some of their ideas are. And Marcus, if you could send us the links to their maybe their platform statements or something that would be give us a good summary of that, that would be very helpful. I appreciate it. Okay. So
You want me to send you the platform to the California Libertarian Party?
just the link so that I could find it.
Okay.
If you could, I think to everybody, that would be great on an email. And then lastly, I don't think I was there on the time when the State Guard issue was discussed, but I strongly support it. And as a veteran myself, I would very much like to be involved with that issue. I think it's very important.
I will make sure Jason knows.
And thank you, Jason, for your leadership on this.
How we could, it's up to you if you want to stop the recording, or I'm willing to take any comments anybody has about Governor Wildstar and take it. I don't know if you want to sit around for another half an hour, how with that, or in the recording, and I'll still be here. Listen.
I'm willing to go on. It's like, it is 1:46. I'd like to congratulate everyone on probably the most disciplined conference we've had so far. I would put in when we invite guests, political guests and so forth. I don't know if Marcus, if this is true necessarily, but when we have political guests, and technically speaking, they would probably be the ones who are making the rules as to what they want to do at that time, whether they want to field questions or not. And to have guests, we do have to. I would caution that we do have to respect their wishes if we want to have them speak to us. If he is open to come back and field questions, I think that would be terrific, and perhaps we can set that up.
I will bring him back on, and he will only come on if he's willing to ask questions. Is that fair, Hal?
Oh no, it's more than fair.
Okay.
Speaking as someone who has not done this before, I would point out, it's like, remember what the effort is, what the effort we want to put forward here is to create the sound bites that we will use later in campaigns, in media campaigns and in general in our in putting forward our efforts. So honestly, if we push a politician into a corner and we start getting angry responses or what have you, that probably doesn't give us the best. Give us to put our best foot forward. Just as a reminder. As far as agenda items go, I don't have anything further, and I would like to open the floor up to discussion, to general discussion. I have as a closing statement for my tenure here. I'd like to make a brief comment on what we've been talking about the riots, and Matt was speaking about the Weimar Republic and with what we've been seeing in the news. I'm going to put this forward as a reminder, and I beg your indulgence in advance. I'm going to remind you that this movement is peaceful. We're seeing a lot of trouble out there right now, and we need to stick to our principles. We need to stick to that principle that we are not an armed organization. I understand the desire to protect oneself and one's family, but publicly speaking, we are a peaceful organization. We do not advocate violence. What I would like to introduce at the moment is the statement: this struggle for California independence must have no battles, no fights. It's like, it's like guns in the street is not what we're after. And there are people who apparently are after that. Let's keep that in mind in our planning and in our discourse, please. Thank you. That's it for me.
Hal?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Christian Egeschlaw, the Brexit campaign advisor, has offered, if you're willing, Hal, to take questions from people based upon his talking earlier. I will wait for Christian's questions, and I will still be here if people want to talk about Governor Wildstar. But Hal, is it okay if you lead some questions from the group to Christian?
I will feed questions. I will open. Let's use our standard format. Those wishing to ask, put up a hand, and we will go in order recognized. Is that in agreement? Christian, thank you for taking questions.
No worries. I realised after last week there were a couple of people who didn't get their chance to ask questions. I thought I'd let you have the moment.
I would admonish, of course, brevity is the soul of wit. Let's keep our questions short and to single topics, please. Professor Williams, would you take the honors, please?
Yes. Kristen, we had a mention at the prior meeting that you would be developing a budget, and I never got a sense of what's going on with that. Could you tell us at what stage you're at in terms of presenting something concrete to us in terms of a budget?
Not a problem. I had the clarification from Marcus. Originally, when you mentioned a budget, I thought you were talking about a campaign-style budget, which is something that takes quite a few weeks of development. I didn't realize you meant a personal one. I have completed a draft that I am working through with Marcus at the moment.
Yeah.
I'll continue to discuss it with Marcus, and when it's ready, I'm sure he'll send it on to you. As far as I'm concerned, it's done. I'd just like Marcus's sign off before it gets sent on.
I was very impressed with your presentation at the earlier meeting, and I'm just wondering if, because you are, an experienced worker in this field from another country, I wonder if it would be possible to get some kind of, wealthy donor or celebrity or somebody who would say, okay, I will fund to bring you over here, and then your job once you're here is to not only develop the strategies that you were talking about so eloquently, but also ways to get further funding. Do you see something like that as a possible approach?
I have previously worked with campaigns exclusively to get funding, so that is not something I'm alien to. I would look to continue the funding stream for I see.
Great. Whatever idea that you have or that anybody else has in the group, I think we ought to put on our thinking caps and think about what are the possibilities. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Doctor. Who wants to go next? Sorry, Shankar.
Okay.
Hannah beat you to it.
I just wanted to say, Christian, I think it's great that you continue providing, basically being a team member, joining, giving the benefit of your advice. I think it's all really great, and but as far as fundraising goes, I'm always worried whenever a large amount of money gets spent. The potential for misunderstandings and people having expectations that aren't met. So I'm just thinking that staying, in France, but helping, giving your time to the fundraising program process would be, I think, really valuable. I'm happy to work with you personally on that. As a political operative to another political operative.
I didn't hear a question in that, sorry.
No, I didn't want to say a question. I just simply was commenting the fact that, um, you know, from my, I don't know what you think about that maybe, but my experience is that, boy, when you talk about spending a lot of money, like, as you know, one, I mean, there's the transportation costs, and then two, there's the living expenses, and then there's transportation because you also have to be able to be active. I'm just sort of thinking when you add it all up, I'm just thinking that you could do a whole lot of good right where you are. And then we'll, you know what I mean? I've just had too many years of experience where people have expectations and they're just not met. And then they get bitter and angry and, and they always feel that they're right. So I think it's just great if you just, we love having you involved, and you've already some great insights just from your experience with the Brexit campaign.
As far as I'm concerned, if you're worried about the costs that would involve of hiring full-time staff, we're not even beginning to kind of scratch the surface of what costs would be involved in a full state ballot. And this is, right. I was looking. There was obviously everybody knows what Proposition 8 was. Rather famously, there was another Proposition 8 in California that talked about the dialysis expenditure. They spent $111 million on a campaign against maximizing what could be spent on dialysis. I would ask you not to worry about campaign costing in terms of staff. There's a lot wider campaign costs that's going to be coming your way.
Well, I probably should also say that what Marcus had said earlier at the very beginning was the fact that we're seeing, already, even before the proposal, the initiatives even released by the government, we're seeing a lot of increasing interest in California secession and blue exit. A lot of it's just being driven by the fact that Trump seems to have decided to openly encourage violence among his supporters, and that's making a lot of people nervous. It maybe it's hard for you, frankly, to put that in perspective. Because you had the BNP, although you're probably too young for the glory days of the BNP and the Thatcher years. So, yeah, gosh, I don't know. It's really scary. And so anyways, a lot of people are just sort of saying, well, it's all going to go blow up anyways. We might as well, think about those California secession people aren't so crazy. That's kind of where we're going. And I'm just thinking that we got, 60 days of the election now. People are going to go more and more about that. So anyways, what can you say? What Hugo, Victor Hugo, right? Hugo said there's no such thing as no more powerful idea than an idea whose time has come. It's like, it's not our situation. What Hal said is, I echo, of course. And I've always also pointed out, though, that violence is not something that is in our control one way or the other. Events in general are not something that's in our control. Other people are going to encourage violence, then they are. And people are going to respond to it. So anyways, I feel like this movement, we're going to see our earned media opportunity is this week with the release of the petition. We're going to see how much the media pays attention to it. But right, Marcus, you found out how quickly the media found out just when you filed the petition. Remember that? There was like, boom, minutes and hours they were on the phone saying, what's all this then? So when it gets released, it's going to be a big thing. And so, I know what you mean, though. Yeah, hundreds of millions of dollars would be great to have. That's, we're going to find out what happens when you don't have hundreds of millions of dollars, I guess.
I don't think you will. I think you'll find out that the money comes in rather quickly.
And if it comes in because of response to disorder in the United States. One too many Portlands, as I said the other day on Facebook.
Let me address it. It's like peaceful, as in we must keep our focus on that. I am honestly, I cannot.
Clean hands.
Huh? I cannot.
Clean hands, as we say in the law. We all have to keep our hands clean, no blood, no muck on them, as much as possible.
the moment a movement or movements like ours begin to entertain publicly the possibility of not peaceful, that's when problems begin to start. So I'm going, as sitting in the chair for Independent California, I'm going to say this is a peaceful movement. Shankar, you're on deck. You ready to talk?
I would like to just accept Hannah's suggestion as a friendly amendment, that if Christian can do as much work from his base in France, all the better. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to have to be coming here, but I'm just saying we ought to do all approaches. And Hal, I want to second what you said about the peaceful nature. I think our counter example that we certainly want to avoid is what the Confederate States of America did in April of 1861 when they fired on Fort Sumter. And so we certainly could say we have no intention of starting a war against the United States. Okay, so that we want to be very clear about. But Hannah is correct that we don't know what events are going to happen between now and the election. I agree with Hannah that if Trump doesn't get the votes and he may call for some kind of armed response, and our response to that should be, we're so sorry to see all this turmoil in the United States. We're not a part of it, and so we don't want to. We're not taking sides.
You scared me for a moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shankar, are you ready?
Do you agree, Al?
No.
Yes, after you
There's no place in London town for a street fighting man.
Been there, done that. Don't want to go into it.
Notice that in both the Irish and South African examples, which are pretty close together, like the Sharpeville Massacre, Bloody Sunday, and all that sort of thing, the political parties stayed clear of armed struggle, absolutely clear of it. The ANC did not engage in it. Sinn Féin did not engage in it. That was other people that did that. Okay, so the clean hands thing helped them to reconcile once that armed struggle was over. Okay, it helped the ANC to transit away from apartheid, and Sinn Féin it helped with the Good Friday Accords. So absolutely, the political struggle has to stay clear, well clear, of anything that any sort of armed struggle, in order to be able to achieve what we seek after any of that happens.
Thank you, Matt. Shankar, you have a question? I've been trying to get you on deck. You have a question for Christian?
Yeah. So, yeah. Look, I don't like talking about this military crap. It's the most powerful military in the face of the world, guys. So let's not talk about fighting their military. I'm looking right now. Last night I was at BLM at the sheriff's station with about 1,000 people, and we left. And then we shut down the 105 freeway. But they set up barriers in front of the sheriff's station, and I'm watching the video. What happened to the people that stayed there after we all left? And they have fully automatic, non-lethal rubber bullets and pepper spray they were shooting at it. Fully automatic. Never heard of that. And that's illegal by the UN. They also have an IRAD, which is a sonic weapon. That's illegal by the UN. And they're deploying that too. I'm looking at the video right now. I'm glad I went off with BLM instead of staying there with the other agitators. But I mean, look, forget about this. We shouldn't even be talking about this, guys, because it's pointless. What I want to talk about, Christian, I took your advice from last week. So check it out. I'm going to run this by you, and then you can tell me how maybe whatever you can tell me, any advice you can give me would be great. So we had a string of fires 2 weeks ago. A lot, I'm like 70 fires or something like that. So there was one fire called the North Lake Fire that it was not reported on at all. Okay, it was virtually glossed over at all, and that's because it sits on China Lake. China Lake is one of the biggest military bases. The Navy owns the most amount of land. The Navy owns. It's right there on China Lake, and that's where they do all their weapons testing. They have secret weapons. They launch them there. So this huge fire, which they said, because reporters were asking, is there a fire? And they would not answer. Then the one statement they put out was, it's 50,000 acres that were burned, and it's 80% contained on Wednesday. And then on Friday, they put another statement out on their Facebook. It said 80,000 acres burned, so 34,000 acres burned, 95% contained. Now this is on. Is it on their land? Is it on federal land? We don't know, because nobody can go up there and check it out because they have it blocked off. So I don't know if David Gregory is still on this call or not. He's working actually because he lives not close by, but he's closer to Tennessee. David, you here? No, David is here. He's actually going to work on an angle on this because that area is full of, where he's from is also full of military bases. But we're trying to angle it like, hey, what are you doing to our land up there, federal government? What's going on over there? You're burning California land. We're burning what's. I mean, we're trying to angle it how you suggested, like not so much a conspiracy, but just what are you doing up there, federal government? I mean, is that the right approach? I mean, what do you think about that? What do you think about that angle of that story? I mean, can you hear me?
You seemed that you went a bit funny at the end there with the connection.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you hear the whole story or?
Yeah, large amounts of it. Yeah. So you're asking my opinion on whether or not what angle you would play in terms of kind of media and press against what looks like a federal issue.
Well, I don't know if it's a. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Well, it's not a federal issue. I mean, it's in California. It's on federal land. It's 80,000 acres that burned, which is a lot. And did it spill over into our land? We don't know because nobody can go up there to investigate. They're not letting anybody go in there except for maybe state firemen, not foreign firemen, because we've had firemen coming out of the country, out of state. Only state firemen can go in there, put it out, and leave. So I mean, I'm trying to angle this so it looks like, what are you doing, federal government, testing weapons on California land and destroying it? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that a good angle? What do you think?
Absolutely. I think obviously with Trump's lack of kind of attitude and his preparedness to help with California wildfires earlier on, and the best thing is it's information. Whether or not they've burnt down thousands of acres, in reality, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't matter. They could burn down 200, 300. It's the lack of information that is likely to piss off voters most. Is why are you not telling us what you're doing there? Because that is where a lot of you can narrate, you can push the narrative whatever you choose to be. Because as long as they don't have an answer for it, you are the one dictating the narrative of saying this is what's going on in this area. And that's the same with any sort of issue that the voters care about. As long as you've got the narrative, which I think this is a perfect example for. Because if they're not willing to tell you what's going on, then it's up to you. It's up to you as a campaign to tell the voters what's actually happening. And if they've got no one else telling you otherwise, then you've got the ideal platform from which you can build. It could.
All right.
I don't live in California. 300,000 acres of land. Fuck it. I don't live there. If that burns down, I'm not happy about it. But it's not going to affect my life. In reality, what affects me and what angers me is an unwillingness from federal government to tell me what actually happened. Why is this happening?
Right. They won't say anything to the press. They only put statements on their Facebook, and that's it. So, okay, man. Well, we're gonna run with it, dude. I might shoot you an email on the story before we send it out or whatever. But
I've sent you a message on Facebook. I know Marcus sent me your number, but I don't know if you're on WhatsApp. But I did find you on Facebook.
Okay,
so
yeah.
If you check your messages, there's a message there from me. Hope that we can link up that way.
Awesome, dude. Let's see.
Anyone else?
Matt had something he was going to say.
Yes. Remember that in my contribution to the efforts of Return California, I mentioned that the concrete example is the city of Palm Springs, half of which is on the Agua Caliente Reservation. Well, Professor Williams has offered, and I've graciously accepted, a room out there and a garage. So I'm going to be soon moving out to Palm Springs as soon as this heat wave, gets down to 1,000 degrees or so. And I'll be seeing what I can do to get into closer contact with the Agua Caliente band of Cahuilla, as well as with MIBC of Baja, because this puts me right across the Salton Sea from Mexicali, the state capital of Baja Norte. As far as my IC chapter goes, we have a head of the Riverside chapter. And so once I make the move from San Bernardino County to the Palm Spring area, I can hand the work in San Bernardino area, which is just north of Riverside, to her and concentrate on Palm Springs. So it'll actually be a spread of IC, from the San Bernardino Riverside area into Coachella Valley. Okay, so it'll actually be an expansion. So things are going better than I could.
That's good, Matt. That's good, Matt. Shoot me the names of the people that you're talking with out in Coachella, man. And if I could just add real quick, everybody on this call, Hannah, let me ask you something, Hannah, real quick. Will you help us with the initiative? You're on mute.
Shouldn't be.
She's muted.
Yeah, she's muted.
There we go. I'm fine. Will you help with the initiative? Yeah, I put it on chat that and I want to give credit to Marcus. Marcus, twisted me arm now, so to speak. Made it clear to me why you needed this. So yeah, I said I would help organize San Diego County and Orange, since you've moved out of Orange.
So, and you're in San Marcos, right? Or Oceanside?
Oceanside, baby. But I will take San Diego because I know it's more important to have San Diego and Orange.
That's a baker's dozen right there, guys. So
yeah,
that's
call it the Oceanside chapter. That sounds.
No, we need San Diego.
We're looking at people in San Diego.
So far, San Diego is. We've got Neil down there. But so far it's you for North County, San Diego.
I'm Long Beach.
Yes, I know, but you got Hollywood covered. That doesn't want to argue about it. I would just say in San Diego. Otherwise, maybe whatever. Yeah.
Other than that, where is that? I knew I was going to get to talk to that guy. Who was that guy, Nick, that was sitting there? Not the governor guy. That guy that was in this chat. Who was that guy?
I'm so sorry.
Nobody saw him.
Name?
No, I saw him. I didn't.
Nobody saw the guy, Nick. Huh?
Nicholas Wildstar's one, but not him.
No, not Nicholas Wildstar. The guy with long hair. His name was Nick. There was 12 people on here. I wish I said something before, man. That's why I interrupt, guys. That's why I interrupt. I was gonna say, hey Nick, I didn't talk to you. Okay, bye. I was gonna say that really quick. I should have said it because I don't know who that guy is. Nobody knows any contact information. Anybody know Marcus may know him if Marcus comes back. He
wouldn't have the contact. He wouldn't have the URL for this particular conference if he didn't have a conversation with Marcus. But you might want to check the recording later, and you'll be able to get more information, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure
Nobody even talk. You just listen.
From the community.
Marcus, I got a question, bud. Who was that guy Nick that was in the meeting right now? That guy Nick with the long hair?
That was Nick. His brother Julian was in the movement in 2016. He heard about it, and his brother got a little burnout, but he was all excited and wanted to join, and he volunteered to be the chapter head for IC in Sacramento, and is a brand new member.
Could I please have his contact? Yes, please. Could I please have his contact information or his Facebook or anything like that, please? I wanted to say something to him earlier, man, but I don't want to interrupt. But next time I'm going to interrupt. Sorry, pal. It'll be a short.
Also of Indian heritage.
Next time I probably won't be hosting, so feel free.
Could I make one more point? One of the main reasons why I wanted to make that offer to Matt to come here is because I think there is tremendous potential with Palm Springs being close to Mexicali, the capital of Baja California Norte, as Matt mentioned. And so we have some really big potential going on there because he already has contact with people in Tijuana. And now if he can get contacts with people in Mexicali, then that could set us in a very, very strong position. So I want to use this example for everyone to be aware if somebody is in need, whether it's a place to live or needs something else, let's support each other. And, you know, because we can offer, you know, I couldn't offer money, but I could offer a place for him to live. And so that's the sort of thing that, you know, we use our resources to help each other.
Well said.
So Hal, do you have anybody for Orange right now?
Right now, as far as I know, was Shankar was going to be taking Orange County, or basically it's like pick a town. One of the reasons why I'm trying to not say this Orange County, LA County, what have you, is because we want more chapters.
Right. That's why I said Orange
So it's
County.
like-
I didn't say just
so
Oceanside, you know, or even North County. We're not organized that way anyway. We're very focused on San Diego here. I can tell you the truth.
No, and like I said, it's one of those. If I have a San Diego chapter, what happens when I get an Escondido guy?
Well, they should be joining together with the people, so we have more than one person chapters, right?
Well,
They will be.
more than one person. Actually,
They will be.
Could be working to upgrade their chapters, but if we have an Oceanside chapter that is local to Oceanside, it's like that doesn't mean you can't be all over San Diego County or working with someone from Escondido or you know, or Fallbrook or what have you.
Okay.
I just want to leave those doors open because new chapter leads are also going to work.
There you go. Thank you. That's exactly why there's multiple chapters. It's not for the regional. It's because if someone is close to you, they don't have to drive all the way across the county. Oh, to go meet the chapter, to go get information, go get gear. They can just go right to whoever's closest and get petitions, supplies, whatever they need. That's the only reason why there's multiple chapters in cities.
Okay. But I'll just
Okay,
remind you that
just,
I live closer to Orange County than I live to San Diego. It's only 16 miles from Oceanside to
San
San
Diego City.
Clemente. Yes, sir.
Well,
It's only 16 miles. It's like up the freeway, San Diego. But if you want to just say North
Yeah,
County,
you live in
I'll
Don
take
Gomez.
on North County. You know what I mean? But I'm saying I can do Orange because it's only 16 miles. I mean, technically speaking, yeah.
You got it. You got it, Hannah. Hannah, you got it. You got South County, South Orange County, and
Because you need somebody there, right?
Oceanside, San
Right.
Marcos.
But anyways, I was.
Central drive to San. Right.
Thank you, Shankar. I just want
I'll
to
take
maybe
Orange County.
clarify this. I just have a question because Marcus gave me the impression they were saying that it was important to say when people in the media say, you know, how many chapters do you have? You say, well, we got this number or we've covered this much territory. That was the impression I was getting. That's why I said
Hannah,
take on a whole county.
well,
Okay.
And
I
as
can
soon as
always
someone from
resign.
Laguna Beach signs up, then they've got South Orange County.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, that's what I was sort of thinking. Because I can always resign. You know, I got others, you know what I mean? There's always someone can take over. I'm not a possessive person. I'm just making sure that you got all the ground, all the major
No.
areas covered.
Thank you for Oceanside and South County.
Honestly, I'm perfectly willing to allow places that don't have chapters yet to be blank on that map for the moment because like I said, it's one of those. We don't necessarily want to give the impression that we've completely covered California. We want to give the impression that this movement is blowing up.
Yeah. I already know I need to get Matt a bunch of gear now.
Right. It's like all of a sudden you got to pop. All of a sudden it's like now Matt is going out to Coachella. Now there is Independent California Coachella.
No.
Yeah, I see what you're
saying?
saying. I just want to remind you that Sierra Club, Sierra Club only has 13 chapters in the state of California.
I don't care.
Well, I do
Honest-
because
Honestly,
you
it's
know
like
they got the whole state to
it's
cover.
one of those, what happens?
As
What happens?
North Orange County goes,
What happens if
just
I
a
get
little
Mark
recruiting
Stewart
tip.
Riley, who is a big player in CNP and a friend of mine, to take on Palm Springs where he lives? Now you've got Coachella, Palm Springs. I got major players in both, so I can. I have the room.
You have a guy in Palm Springs?
Huh?
You have a guy in Palm Springs?
I don't have him. I don't have him yet. We're talking.
Okay. All right.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like
You got
Yeah,
Dr. Williams.
we want to have room.
Of a growing social movement. It's
Right.
going to expand, and so let's just be flexible. We've got the things that exist now.
Yeah.
We're open to new chapters as people come forward. So be flexible.
Yeah, I agree. No,
Well,
it's
Yeah,
look,
we have to be
look,
flexible.
ladies
I
and
mean,
gentlemen,
fixing to hand my San Bernardino County work over to the person from Riverside so I can concentrate on Palm Springs, Coachella Valley. As far as North OC goes, and some of you may already know this, your chances of recruiting would be much greater in the county seat, Santa Ana, which is heavily Hispanic, than, I don't know, Huntington Beach.
well, my simple goes, ladies and gentlemen, I am the chairman of the board of Independent California, but I'm not. I didn't claim I'm not going to put up the entirety of Los Angeles as my purview, although there's nobody's going to stop me if I did.
I am the foot of Los Angeles. I am the president of
I mean,
the entire county.
hey, it's like I could live large and be. I am
Ridiculous.
greater. I am Independent California, greater LA. Stop me. No, it doesn't work that way. It's like, look, Long Beach. It's like because the Long Beach chapter, a Long Beach chapter by itself has like 5 or 6 people in it right now. Long Beach has 5 or 6 people in it right now. And, you know, it's like Danny has Holly. You know, it's like we're 20 miles apart, but that's okay. That's cool. I'll support him. I'll support Hannah. I'll support Shankar. I'll support Matt. I'll come out and support you too. You know, it's like because you know we're going to be doing that. We're going to be talking about chapter visits and what have you. We have to do that. Shankar's already talked about. He's basically once we get going with this, we're going to have to be going around doing training stuff and visiting with others and going to everybody else's events. This is going to be loose. But if you want to put a map of California up and you want to stick pins in it, what we want a lot of pins, not a few pins in big counties. And so eventually that's what we want it to look like. And everybody who comes on board, it's like I'm looking at like Jason and Joe here. We get people on board. These people are going to have. They're going to want to bite deep. They're going to want to take some ownership. If we're just shuffling them into big, broad county chapters, it'll be longer before they get an opportunity to do that. So it's like, you know, it's like I'm LB. I'm good. LB's good.
Oh, okay, I just
Jason.
wanted to clarify that what I was saying, I like that idea about the pins on a map idea.
Right.
And you definitely want to have the more pins and you want them closer together because that shows that your movement is growing. Might point out to you that a lot of people will never want to take on a leadership role. They just feel really intimidated by the idea. I was envisioning it more like that, you know, somebody comes along and says, hey man, I'm living in San Juan Capistrano. I hear you're in charge of Orange County. I'd say, yeah, absolutely. Let's go have coffee. I'll explain everything to you, answer all your questions. That was kind of the model I have. And if they say they really seem like they want to take charge, then okay, now you've got a pin over in San Juan Capistrano, and I won't worry about that. Or I'll be supporting them, but I will not be that chapter lead over there. That was kind of the organic kind of process of organization that I thought. Now, I shall also point out that if we got $1 zillion, eventually we'd be talking about field offices. And
All right. Before we get into field offices, real quick, Jason. I'm sorry, Hannah. Just wanted. Jason, listen, man. Listen. That's that Jay Caldwell guy. He was on the meeting today. I need you to work with him, dude. But look, he's establishment Democrat, man. Establishment Democrat, right? Kind of like Hannah. You know, just like very. So, in fact, it is Hannah. It is Hannah. They agree on almost every single thing. They vote probably the exact same way. So don't bring up any of the anti-democrat stuff, any of that stuff with him. But you're going to be working with him. He works right across the bay from you, so you guys are going to be like teaming up in this stuff. Dude, show him what's up, man. You know, if you need any supplies, let me know. If he has any questions on the petition, help him out, dude. He's a chapter lead for San Francisco City, and then you're across the bay, right, on your area. So Jay Caldwell is his name. I'll give you his contact info. What's that? I can't hear you.
Jason's in Marin. Jason is in Marin County.
Oh.
Okay, Marin County. Okay.
Anyway, to finish up that part of the conversation, it basically goes. It's like we have very good, very talented people scattered throughout California. Some of them were looking at people who were talking about coming across to IC to do these things. Ken Bucker down in San Diego is one of them. Dave Gregory up in Northern California is another. Up in Paradise is another. We know it's like love them, hate them. We know these people can push and organize. You know, if Don Sutton decided to come back and he wanted a Long Beach chapter, I'd be like, here's the keys. You know, it's that kind of thing.
So guys, just in this conversation, we're up to 14 chapters. Just in this. This 2 hours here. I mean, look, it's gonna get to 40, man. I'm pretty sure it's gonna get to 40, guys. That's all I'm saying. Sorry to interrupt you, Hal.
Marcus, you made a mistake. You said organize.
I failed at this task last time because and the policy and the growth.
That's why I was like, why are you guys talking about 4 chapters? I was like, what the heck are you guys talking about, dude?
You guys are doing great. You're doing great. I mean, you're fit for this. You're built for this shit.
And that's kind of where we're at. It's like the chapters don't have to be large. In fact, actually, in many ways, they're better if they're small. They're small orgs in themselves. It's like 4 or 5 people like-minded who can go and do stuff locally on the local level. Go attend your city council meetings wearing your shirts. Go collect signatures. It's like when this is over, when the signature gathering is done, the infrastructure will be in place for the California independence movement to support broadly on whether it's a Black Lives Matter protest or it's an immigrants' rights protest or it's what have you. Now the structure's in place. It's a phone call or an email tweet, and bang, we're sending. We can send a half dozen people to 50 people out to a march. What happens? Picture it in your head. What happens at they're talking about possibly a women's march in January. What happened here in Los Angeles? It's huge. But what happens if there are 50 people in this silly shirt carrying the flags, come walking out with the bullhorns and air horns and what have you at this event?
At the women's march? I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying, though.
Because that's part of California values. We support that. But we come walking out.
The women's march.
This is the same kind of stuff that blew up. That got refused fast to blow up. You know what I'm saying? We have small chapters in locations that can spread the message. It's like they're outposts. Eventually, in the larger areas, we're going to have regional directors for those larger areas. I just don't want to do that right now. It's like because it's putting the cart ahead of the horse. That's all. We will have the more talented people will be taking on bigger roles. It's like, God, you better.
Here's one thing
just these small chapters in these small locations, doing local outreach. It's like, talk to your local guys. It's like, I got Robert Uranga down the street. He's on the school board and a city council, or his wife's on the school board. He's on the city council. It's like, meet up with him about every 3 or 4 weeks. You know, it's like, just, and it sees me wearing this. It's like, okay, you know, maybe it's not doing anything, but you know what I'm saying? We keep rolling. That's where I'm at. I'm not, you know, I'm trying to stay off the bigger issues. I want everybody to stay peaceful, stay safe, and keep the message, keep the chapters growing and the message consistent.
Stay hydrated.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. If I can do that and die Californian, then I'm doing just fine. You know, you know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at. We have talented people. Yes. As this.
Yeah. Okay. So real quick. So look, how just when these chapters go up on the website, we're not putting anybody's personal information up there, but there's going to be a contact button, like an email that they're going to hit. It's going to right to your email. Okay. So, but your name and nothing that is going to be up on the page, so don't worry about that at all. But it'll be a link to your email. It won't be your email address, but it'll be a link to it. Okay, so I hope everybody's cool with that. If you're cool with that, great. I don't see any other way of getting a hold of chapters besides an email, which is at least intrusive. Also, the second thing is, look, if you're going to do an event, we need everybody's got to know the event and let us know a week ahead so we can post it up on the website so people can come to the website and see a calendar of where we're going to be the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months, whatever it is, and they can plan ahead and go there. Now, if you're scheduled to go to an event, and this is the problem I had the last time, you got to go. I will be ripping heads off at people who don't go to the event they said they were going to set up a tent or set up a booth. I will. That pisses me off on so many levels, because not only are you letting the movement down, but the people that are looking at that and counting on you to be there as their first point of contact, that just makes all of us, the entire fucking movement, look like shit. And I will rip someone's head off if you can't make it, if you have car trouble, just tell somebody. Tell me, tell Hal, tell someone, call, hey, I can't make it. We can put something up on the site real quick. So when they're standing there looking for your booth and they can't find it, they can go on the website and see, oh, obviously something happened to them. But just tell somebody. I'm going to make that adamant, guys. I'm sorry to be like that, but I just remember last time, and that was the one thing that was just really disappointing then. That's it. I'm sorry, Hal.
That's the way it's got. No, that's the way it's got to be. It's like we're right now we're in a position where we're putting the pieces in place. We are doing everything in our power in the short timeline to expand the movement and to meet our goals. The 8th is coming. The following weekend after that is when let's face it, that's when everybody's going to start rolling.
It's 2 days.
Huh?
Yeah. It's in 2 days. In 2 days, the website, something should be up on our site that is not what is on there right now. And I hope I can't wait to see it, man.
If this thing is going to leave the gate a little, if it leaves the gate, you know, and we're still bolting pieces onto it as it's rolling out.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, dude, it's launching, but it isn't like official. Like, we're not like telling everybody like, hey, it's on September 8th. You know, it's like it's a rollout, if you will. Yeah, with bolts needed to be added still from IKEA. Missing IKEA pieces are.
You know, that's where we're going to be, and you know, stick to what we need to do right now. I'm asking. It's like I'm trying to stay out of like, it's, you know, the broad discussions that we're having of water rights or Native American rights or our relations with Black Lives Matter are great. We have a matter of days before this initiative drops.
Yeah.
So
it's cool. It's all good, buddy.
No, it's great. It's terrific. It's just one of those. if I'm at that point where I'm like, I don't have time to engage in this discussion right now, it's meant with all love and with all, get off your butt. What are you doing? We have stuff to do here. we have things to get done. We have people to organize, and we're going to have to get these packages out and get everything going. And
Yeah, you know what sucks is that we've got chapter leads that have, or people that have signed up to be members, and I don't have shirts to give them, man. So I'm looking forward to our IC meeting this week because we gotta get rolling on that. I've already got Don Gomez working on a batch of shirts that we can keep, like 50 shirts for us here. It's not the stuff that's going to be on the store, but we need to get rolling on that, man. And I think because we got members signing up right and left, but we don't. I don't have large. I don't have extra large. I can't send them a medium. I can't send them a double X. I mean,
no. Yeah, you're right. No, these people. We recognize it. We recognize the talent of everyone here, and the commitment and what everybody's going to put out, what everybody's willing to do. Trust me, we are rolling as fast as we can. We'll be sending out those. We're looking to send out those initial packages to the leads, and trying to get everybody.
That sounds about right, bro. That sounds about right.
We'll get it ready to run. Like I said, we may be Marcus. We may be bolting pieces onto this train as it's rolling out of the station.
Can I say something?
We're pushing to roll out of the station on time.
How do I have your permission to say something, sir?
Of course.
You guys are doing great. I rode everyone real hard. I pressure everybody real hard. It's because I want to win. And I overdo it sometimes, and I'm sorry. And, sometimes I'm inartful and I should do it better. Jason gets a lot of it, and I'm sorry, you guys, but it's because I want to win. He does. Jason puts up with a lot from me. I'll routinely call him going, and he's like, Jason's pretty good. This week, Jason calmed me down and said, hold on, buddy. Let's walk through this. It's not the end of the world. And he counseled me and got me to calm down so that we dealt with the problem efficiently. So all of us are human. All of us make mistakes. I lose it sometimes too. I just try real hard. We're all going to have to step up. You guys are doing great. Hal, if I have your permission, I'd like to just say something we talked about earlier. You are recognized as the grassroots leaders. Your rep is not, you got $1 million and a professional commercial and the best website design. That's not who you are. You have street cred. You have been on TV fighting for gay rights, harassing Trump officials, getting into quasi-fights with Trump officials, standing next to Antifa, standing in front of Antifa, harassing ICE officials. That's you. Don't try to act like something you're not. You will confuse people, and then they'll think you're lying and they won't join. You're the grassroots duct tapey part. That's who you are. I wear duct tape proudly because we get shit done. And if you have any questions about look, the media is going to come and they're going to go, why aren't you this? Why aren't you that? Why aren't you this? And your question is, why are you even asking me? You know what activism is? It's about credibility. Ask around LA. Ask the immigrants. Ask Barrio Unidos. Ask the undocumented. Ask, the anti-vendidos. Ask BLM. Ask the Trumpers. They're going to tell you, oh, those guys in black shirts, those people are more radical than Antifa and better organized in the head. That's dangerous. That's who you are. So you don't need to be perfect. If the media calls, hey, folks, we're getting it together. Why don't you already have it together? Because we have too many goddamn people joining because we can't handle the rush of people joining. Right. That's what happened.
Oh, we do not want to have that problem again, dude. We're going to handle it better this time, Marcus.
Yes, but
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes, you're right, Shankar. Internally, you don't want to have that problem again, which we're not. That's why IC is handling this. Hannah's doing policy, and Yes is doing media. We're separated so people can focus. You guys are already further along than I ever was. When I say I failed, I fucking failed. Jason was there. Ask him. It wasn't because I didn't want to. It was because it was too much, and I wasn't geared for this. When I say you guys are built from the ground up, you're built for this shit, you are. You're organizers. I hated organizing. I hated it. I did it because I had to. I fucking hated every minute of it. You guys love this shit. You love it. You've been doing it for a year and a half. Everybody knows you. Your street cred is, yeah, reporter, you're right. I don't got the website up. But you know what I do got? Credibility. Why don't you ask around LA and see who I am? And Antifa and BLM and all the Latinos and all the Trump supporters are going to say, yeah, we know who those guys are. What do you think initiative gathering is? It's activism. What do you think activism is? You don't got a rep. You're not an activist. Ask Governor Wildstar. Governor Wildstar works with a lot of activists. Someone slammed him on activism. He goes, well, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. So we are winning this game through activism. You have street cred. That's all you need. Anybody challenges you on anything else, you're right. And guess what? It don't fucking matter at all because we got street cred. We'll build the rest. I know because I didn't have street cred and I didn't have organizing, but we sure had a nice polished website and a commercial and we totally failed. Polish ain't gonna get you there. You guys have everything you need. Just don't be shy. Like I harassed Hal about it. You need to be shameless. Hey, grassroots organizer right here. That's who we are. You got a question about that? You ain't asking around. We're grassroots. We got rep. We're based out of LA. That's all we need. And if you don't get that, you don't know what the hell you talking about, reporter. That's your attitude every motherfucking time they ask. Do that. I can promise you the world will give you everything. That's all you need to do.
Oh, we basically already got the thug version of the California independence movement talking about keep it peaceful. So, no, building this up with the initiative going, and of course, it's impossible to discuss anything without framing it in the light of we have what is going to be probably the most dumpster fire election in the last 100 years looming in early November. If you look at the timeline, this week the initiative drops. In November is the election. Early November is the election, and in January there will be the inauguration. Those three, basically peak events, with everything else that's going to happen in between. Those peak events are what we're setting up for right now. We don't know what it's going to look like come January. We don't know what it's going to look like come mid-November. So we need to be diverse. We need to be all over. We need to have, these little cells I wasn't going to use the word cell in local areas to talk to local people about the issues. It's going to be a simple message. USA, no matter how you slice it from the end of this election, it's like everybody pretty much agrees in this movement that no matter how you slice it, the USA is not going to be doing anything good for California. And that's the end of that discussion. So, like I said.
Is someone eating chips?
Huh?
Is someone eating chips?
I don't know. I thought it was you.
No.
Anyway, that's all. I've said more than enough for one day, Marcus. We're at 2:45.
I'd say stop the recording. Stop the recording, Hal, but I will be here for an additional 20 minutes if anybody wants to ask any questions about Governor Wildstar and my decision to not allow more questions to it. But Hal, I'd say go ahead and stop the recording here. And,
yeah, look, I just want to say one thing real quick, Marcus. Look, you guys, you're going to file the BLM, the Senate bill, or the bill. Look, BLM is cool, man. we're just going to tell them that you're filing their old bill. They're not going to get, I mean, that guy seemed a little bit nervous about it, but I'm not nervous about it at all. I don't care. It's not a big, it's a good thing for everybody, man. I mean, and that bill needs to pass the way it did. So anything that, it seems like a lot of people are just bringing them up right now because they're in the press all the time and everybody wants to be writing on this BLM wave. So let's not be like that, dude. That's not what they need. It's not what, and they're smart and they're onto it, dude. They need allies, guys. They need people there that are going to be there regardless if they're in the press or not, dude. And they know the people that have been there before that. They don't need, you know how many politicians were there yesterday at the sheriff's station? It was unbelievable, including Maxine Waters. And guess what? They got told? This is not the time. You want to politic, go somewhere else. And it's rightfully so, man. Someone just died and their family's there. This is a bereavement process right here. That's why we're there. And it's not a time for politics, dude. And so, look, if you're just up front with them, man, they are the coolest people you'll ever meet, man. I'm gonna post you this video that I took video of me saying, dude, I was leading a march of about 1,000 people and about 100 cars. I was clearing the traffic out. Me and about a platoon of skateboarders. We're just going down Imperial Highway and just diverting traffic away. And then it came this awesome 1,000 people. And then we went on the 105 freeway and stopped that. And guess what, guys? All of this, no permits they didn't get a permit, but they let law enforcement know ahead of time exactly what they were going to do and when they were going to do it. That means they told law enforcement, we're taking Imperial Highway, we're blocking it, we're going on the 105 freeway, and we're going to stop traffic there. We're going to stay there for 30 minutes, and then we're done. And there's nothing that you can do to change it. The fact that we told you that we're going to do it, be thankful for that. And they were. Highway Patrol was there to meet us. Local law enforcement knew what we were doing. And their statement went. So if you're just honest with them, like they are honest with everybody else, with the media, if they're 100% up on all the shit that they do. Dude, how great would it be if they backed that bill up, Marcus?
Great.
If they backed dude up,
but I don't think we should wait for anybody.
Oh no. What do you mean wait for them?
Thank you. That's all I was looking to hear for you to say. Okay, perfect. We're on the same page.
Wait for them for what?
Wait for them for what? I wanted to be clear. We're on the same page. We're going to do it. It's moving forward. Everybody's willing to be.
Do it.
Absolutely. Yep, great. Awesome. And that's the thing why I think BLM will get it is that this was designed by Dr. Calores.
Yeah.
Go back.
Yeah.
Look, dude, I've been following BLM since day one. Yes, California was the first group to say Vision Zero was getting backed when no one was talking about it. We had candidates in front of police stations saying we'll take on union contracts when no one was saying that. We were in the LA Times because they were going, damn, no one even says that. So we were there at the very beginning going, what exactly do you want? What's the actual policy thing you want? I figured it out. Forget all the hype. Forget what anybody's saying on TV because they ain't going to show you what real change is. It's this law written by Dr. Calores. She figured out exactly what it takes to change. And we know that's the answer because the Democrats basically, and the Republicans too, pulled a fast one on them within 24 hours and then said, ha, here's the same bill. And it was not. I've been in government 18 years. I filed more than 10 initiatives. I've been following Calexit for 8 years. I have some idea of what it looks like when the system doesn't want you to do that because that would mean things get fixed. And I'm telling you, 392, we instituted the way Calores said. We don't need to ask nobody.
Yeah.
We just take a stance and guess what's going to happen? People are going to go, look at these sellout fake monsters. They took the legislation exactly as Calores designed it and just reinstituted it and didn't add anything and change anything. How exactly are we anything but standing up for Black Lives Matter if we did that? They're going to have to criticize Calores, and that ain't never going to happen.
So what you don't want to have happen, is, oh, they're riding the BLM wave. You want them to say, oh, they're riding the BLM wave with BLM backing, with BLM's blessing.
Yeah, it would be nice, but here's the thing. Like Wildstar said, it's political.
No, dude. I heard him say that, and that scared me. They're not, dude. They're not. Let me draft the email. Run through you and Wildstar, and I'll send it to Miss Colors and send it to Miss Abdullah. Dude, you'll get nothing but a positive response back, dude.
Sounds great. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah,
By the way, we're doing it no matter what.
I've never
Let
heard
me
you
make
can-
one more comment if I could.
Shankar, if you can get a hold of
anything
Patricia
negative from them
Colors,
at all, ever.
more power to you. I just want to point out to you that I've been involved in the LGBT movement for 30 some years. And I will tell you that this happens all the time. You put a bill in and it doesn't get approved in the way you want it. And they'll always tell you the same thing. It's not the right time. We couldn't go that far. There was opposition. This is why we have the initiative process, people. I'm really glad. I hope that BLM focuses more on getting their initiative on. And frankly, I think they have a better chance of getting the change they want through the initiative process, because obviously that will get around. I see Matt's head nodding. That's going to get around the police union problem. Look, you got to understand, none of you have ever run for office. You want the police union's endorsement. That's just the facts. No, it is true. I don't care if you're running in South Central. You try to run in South Central and try to run against the police. I don't think you're going to win. And I certainly don't think you're going to win in Jarvis District. It's just the facts. Now, I'm trying to give you practical politics.
Yes,
I'm telling you that.
Before we go further with our defamation of the,
I'm not taking a stand here. I'm just trying
to hold it. Before
deal
we
with the
I understand Hannah's point.
Shut off the recording.
We are off the recording.
No, we're not. We're still recording.
You're still recording.
For Christ's sakes, why aren't
That's
we?
what I'm saying. Can I shut it off now?
Yes, please.
Thank you.